Good morning and thank you for returning to MMA Alerts. Tom Aspinall and I will begin negotiations for Jon Jones's fight today. The mixed martial arts community has been yearning for a bout between heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall and undefeated contender Jon Jones. Despite initial doubts, Tom Aspinall now claims that his team is in talks with the UFC to have Jon Jones compete at UFC 309. All he has to do is wait for a date. Before we go any further, if you want to show your support for the channel, click the like button on the video. The interim champion addressed a fan's query regarding his next match in a video posted to his YouTube page. "Everything is okay with us, all we need is a date." Jones informed the media after his victory over Stipe Miocic that he was looking for a low-paying battle with Aspinall. This caused fight fans like Ariel Helwani to question if Turkey's Alal Sik might be engaged in the fight's talks so that the heavyweight bout may take place in Saudi Arabia in 2025. The only information we have regarding a possible battle comes from Aspinall stating that the parties are in negotiations. However, it appears that the fact that Jon Jones's camp is in talks with the UFC suggests that the heavyweight champion is not planning to retire or give up the championship. Fighting Shavkat Rakhmonov is Ian Garry's business. After Shavkat Rakhmonov withdrew at UFC 310 due to injury, the promotion had to quickly find a replacement opponent for Nomad Bilal Muhammad. Despite much speculation that Kamaru Usman might agree to fight Rakhmonov for the interim title on short notice, Ian Garry was the one who ultimately agreed to face Rakhmonov in a 5-round co-main event on December 7th. The two competitors who have yet to drop an undefeated record will now face off in a duel for the title of top contender. In a video posted to his YouTube account just before the high-stakes fight, Garry discussed the match and how he and the Nomad had trained together. "Truthfully, I was advocating for the Shavkat confrontation. It was undefeated against undefeated that I was advocating. We have trained together, so we are both aware of our abilities and respect one another. Okay, I get that he probably doesn't value me nearly as much as I value him. Which is fine, it's the standard for our professions at that stage. The reality, though, is that I will seize a zone and that belt." Alessandro Pantoja, Kaya Sakura, Rakhmonov and Garry are all featured on the official poster that the UFC unveiled in the lead-up to the fight. This is a highly crucial fight for both fighters since, despite the futures ranking at 7, the victor of the co-main event will almost certainly face Bilal Muhammad the moment the champion is fit and ready to return to the octagon. For avoiding Umar Nurmagomedov, Merab Dvalishvili is criticized by Peter Yang. There has been a lot of discussion on the Bantamweight title picture recently. Merab Dvalishvili was expected to defend the Bantamweight title against Umar Nurmagomedov for the first time as Sean O'Malley recuperated from hip surgery. Having defeated Corey Sandhagen, the Machine and Aljamain Sterling have made it clear that they do not believe Nurmagomedov is deserving of the bout. In spite of his claims that he'll fight anyone the UFC puts in front of him, the champion has already knocked Nurmagomedov out on many occasions. The 135 title picture was discussed by Peter Yan prior to Saturday's Fight Night Macau event. Merab is staying out of Umar Nurmagomedov's battle. Even he knows it's risky for him. Omar wants to defend the belt against less dangerous opponents, but he also needs more wins to be considered for a title fight. He hasn't defeated anyone in the UFC top 15. Umar Nurmagomedov had hinted at a rematch with Sean O'Malley after winning the title, but Dana White has stated that a bout between Dvalishvili and Nurmagomedov is next, despite the Machine's belief that Nurmagomedov does not deserve a shot at the belt. There has been no official announcement regarding when the two may clash, but given that Nurmagomedov will be fasting during Ramadan, the holy month of Islam, from February 28th through March 29th, it is likely that the conflict will take place after the holy month concludes. Michael Chandler addresses accusations of infidelity for the first time. Michael Chandler, who is beloved by many, has come under fire for what appeared to be a number of rule violations, including, according to Oliveira, hitting Dupronk in the back of the head, grabbing his gloves, poking his fingers in the fence, and reportedly getting in some eye pokes. In response to the criticism, Chandler stated during his appearance on Bustin' with the Boys that the shots missed Oliveira's skull and landed on her ear. "Oh, I see. The referee was standing right there too. I was wondering if he was going to step in because he got 15 punches to the ear. Accusations that Chandler broke the rules during a fight are nothing new. The Diamond was quite irate that Chandler was fishing for a rear naked choke after his battle with Dustin Poirier and sticking his fingers in his mouth. In addition, the referee for that match cautioned Chandler against blows to the back of the head. After the bout, Chandler did acknowledge that his fingers did accidentally land in Poirier's mouth. However, he explained it away by saying it was an accident and that he is not a dirty fighter. Like he did earlier this week, Chandler claimed that the back of the head shots were landing on the ear. Match reports again that moment has come. In preparation for this coming weekend's Fight Night Macau event, let's change gears and take a look at the latest UFC fight news. First up, on January 11th, there will be a women's strawweight bout with Victoria Dudakova and Fatima Klein. Dudakova suffered her first career defeat in August when she lost by a split decision. The flip side of the coin is that Klein is attempting to recover from her loss in her UFC debut last summer. On the same fight night, February 15th, middleweights Jacob Malkoun and Rodolfo Vieira will square off. Following his unexpected March victory against Andrei Petrovsky, Malkoun will seek to continue his winning streak. On the other hand, BJJ great Vieira is looking to keep his winning streak going after submitting his last two opponents. Finally, in the lightweight division, two fighters on winning streaks, Grant Dawson and Carlos Diego Ferreira, will square off. In October, Dawson defeated Rafa Garcia via knockout, while in May, Ferreira defeated Matthias Rebecki via third-round technical decision. Ransom Jackson vs. Rashad Evans boxing ring match in 2025. Both Rampage Jackson and Rashad Evans intend to return to the ring for a bout. Despite the fact that Rashad is 45 years old and Rampage is 46, the two mixed martial arts greats will square off in Florida next year. Evans revealed the news during an interview with MMA Fighting. The two are going to battle over 15 years after their first octagon bout. I'm going to box Rampage, therefore I've jumped into training camp. We are considering doing it in Florida, perhaps towards the end of February. Let's have a boxing battle. I mean, I'm 45 years old. I could simply finish it all and enjoy this stage of my life, you know? That's what I was thinking when I considered it. Still, I can't help but wonder what would have happened if I had boxed for fun once. For a boxing fan like myself, nothing beats the opportunity to face Rampage again. The battle between Rampage and Shannon Briggs did not go through, but it hasn't stopped Rampage from being in decent form and wanting to fight again. It seems like some fans were upset by the announcement of a boxing contest between Rashad and Rampage. In response, Rampage took to social media and wrote, "Why all need to stop hating and let two fighters do what they love to do. This conflict is going to be a blast thanks to my plans. Boxing is something I've always been interested in. A long time ago, yes, I would have preferred it. This is the kind of thing that only people who aren't fighters say. People should be more respected when they risk their health to entertain you." Nearly 4 years after calling it quits, Evans returned to the ring in 2022 for a promotion with Habib's Eagle FC and won. However, since his technical knockout loss to Fedor Emelianenko in 2019, Rampage has refrained from competing professionally. Tragic health news emerges for Khalil Rountree following his battle with Alex Pineda. Despite losing the bout to Alex Pineda, Khalil Rountree gained a legion of supporters thanks to his heroic performance. Even after taking 127 major blows, Rountree fought to the very end, forcing referee Mark Goddard to intervene. According to Rountree, who appeared on the Jackson podcast, Pineda blinded him with one of his blows after splitting his eye. But Rountree, being the warrior that he is, chose to just shrug it off and keep going. Right now, I didn't sense it, and I don't think you will either. For example, during the altercation that resulted in this cut, I believe I took a blow, and I could tell it was a hard one because my eyesight began to blur slightly. However, I was like, I went blind, but I'm gonna keep going when the second one landed, the one that actually split my eye. Yeah, you remain silent. I failed to see anything subsequent to that. The only thing I could make out was light. It was completely dark to me. Nothing was visible to me. If someone had applied a transparent or frosted film, it would have looked the same. Now I'm completely blind, but I'm not going to give up. I didn't feel anything, though, in terms of sensation or emotion. I knew it was there, but the adrenaline was too strong for me to. Okay, my eyes messed up, but I'll fix that later. Rountree ended up requiring septoplasty surgery to correct a deviated septum after Poetin injured his nose during the fight, in addition to requiring stitches just below his eyebrow. The severity of his injuries suggests he may be sidelined for some time as they return to full strength. After Rountree gets over the pain of the bout, Brendan Schaub had previously stated that he doubts he will ever be the same. News alert. The court found Conor McGregor guilty. An enormous thank you to Irish journalist Paul Healy for his extensive coverage of this case. The last arguments in the civil case against Conor McGregor took place on Tuesday. McGregor took the stand on the last day of the trial, in which he once again denied that anything non-consensual occurred between him and the alleged victim, even though a paramedic who dealt with the victim testified that the aftermath of the alleged incident on the ambulance was, quote, one of the worst things she's ever seen. Later, doctors in the emergency room had to use medical equipment to remove a feminine hygiene product from the victim. During closing comments, attorneys representing McGregor, the victim, and McGregor's acquaintance James Lawrence all addressed the jury. MMA Mania reports that McGregor's lawyer discussed the jury's impression of the former champion. Perhaps some of you hold unfavorable opinions of Mr. McGregor. Perhaps even some of you despise him. There's no need in acting as if something different could be true. That needs my immediate attention. You might also find it unappealing if a man leaves the house on a Saturday and goes drinking in hotel penthouses with ladies. None of these will probably make you like him more. Please do not feel pressured to like him. Please examine the proof that I have provided. I'm not suggesting you extend an invitation to Sunday lunch, rather, I'm challenging you to examine your own beliefs. The victim's lawyer countered by claiming McGregor is a liar, a coward, and a man who plotted to bring down the other defendant, James Lawrence, by spreading false information. On the other hand, Lawrence provided his own account of events, testifying that he and the friend of the alleged victim were in the adjacent room when he caught a sight of McGregor and the woman having what appeared to be an amicable exchange. This morning by a jury in his case versus Nikita Hand, and the damages that McGregor inflicted totaled $258,486. The jury deliberated for 6 hours and 10 minutes before reaching a verdict. James Lawrence, who was in the company of McGregor at the time of the event, was acquitted of the charges against Nikita Hand. Amidst the heated atmosphere outside the courtroom, Conor and his family reportedly retreated to another room, leaving Nikita and her family to wait inside. Ignoring inquiries from the reporters, Conor walked right out of the courtroom and into his car after the hearing, respond excessively to the women involved. The outpouring of support I have received from everyone has been quite moving. John Gordon, Ray Boland, and Sean, my 3 barristers, and the entire Callman legal team have my deepest gratitude. Their service has been outstanding throughout. All the witnesses, the jury, and Mr. Justice Alexander Owens have my gratitude. My deepest gratitude goes out to Dr. Frank Clark and the rest of the medical staff at the Rotunda Hospital and the treatment unit for the exceptional care I received. Cleana, in particular, has been there for me the whole time, and I am grateful to the Reich Center for that. To the security detail and the ambulance drivers, I am eternally grateful. Those who have stood by me during this ordeal have my eternal gratitude. Nothing you sent me, a card, a letter, an email, whatever has gone unreceived. This means the world to me, and I am incredibly grateful. I am incredibly grateful to my partner Gary, who has been an incredible source of support over the past 4 years and has been there for me every step of the way during this trial. All of my loved ones, especially my mom, deserve my deepest gratitude. My daughter Freya is the one for whom I am most thankful, and I'd like to honor her last. Over the last 6 years, she has been my rock while I've battled this nightmare and fought for justice. Justice will be served to all the victims of, and I want Freya and every other girl on the street to know that no matter who you're up against, you can stand up for yourself. To those who are frightened to speak up, I hope my experience serves as a reminder that we can all make a difference and that justice must be served. I know this has had an enormous effect on my life, the lives of my girls, my relatives, and my friends, and on certain things I will never forget. I can finally put this behind me and focus on the future with my daughter, friends, and family, knowing that justice has been served. I would want to get your take on this matter. Post a comment telling us.